From Lubbock, Texas, it's time for Big 12 softball here on ESPN. The series finale between BYU and second-ranked Texas Tech. The Red Raiders taking the first two games of the series in run-rule fashion, continuing their dominance. I'm Will Connerly, happy to be with you this afternoon from the newly minted Tracy Sellers Field. The Red Raiders in the first two games of the series, dominant fashion, limiting this BYU Cougars lineup to just one run and two hits in each of the first two games of the series. Here's what Gordon Eakin's lineup looks like for the series finale as they look to salvage a game in this three-game Big 12 series. Danica Acosta leading things off. And it's followed by a familiar set of lineup other than Haley Morrow, who went out in game one. It's a team that's been ravaged by injuries this season. Gordon Eakin in his 24th season. BYU finishing 6th in the Big 12 in each of their first two seasons. At the basement right now, and Texas Tech at the top of the league as they continue to win in convincing fashion. Maya Davis, Caitlin Terry, Jackie Liss, and Mia Williams all hitting above 445. They're all top 6 in the Big 12 in batting average for a team hitting above 400 for head coach Jerry Glasgow, who clinched another series victory with that win yesterday in his second season with the Red Raiders, and they look like a team destined to head back to Oklahoma City, the only team in the country top 5 in runs and ERA. They look for the sweep next here on ESPN+. Nyjah Kennedy and Caitlin Terry author complete games in the first two games of the series. It's Samantha Lincoln getting the start in the circle for the series finale. The sophomore left-hander, been impressive, a 7-0 record this season, just above a 2 ERA after she had perhaps one of her worst outings last week. A 3.82 ERA in Big 12 play, 7-0 overall, and a 3-0 record in Big 12 action, including a pair of complete games in conference play. The sophomore lefty from Taunton, Mass, and somebody who's really getting some great experience this season. A lot of the headlines from Texas Tech having maybe the top two pitchers in the country, and Nyjah and Caitlin Terry, but Samantha Lincoln been really good as well. And with all the run rule victories, it's been hard for this pitching staff to continue to log more innings and innings. Earlier this week, Jerry Glasgow said he may start pitching Kennedy after this weekend on Friday and Sunday to get ready for regional and super regional action. As we are underway from Tracy Sellers Field, Danica Acosta leading things off as Lincoln begins her outing firing a strike. Picked up the win last time out to move to 7-0, but allowed 6 earned in 5 innings of action with 3 home runs allowed. As it's fouled away by Acosta, the starting second baseman for BYU. 341 leading the team atop this lineup, with her batting average including a pair of home runs, the first 2 of her career coming last weekend, one of them a walk-off as well, as the 0-2 from Lincoln up and out. So just 4 hits through the first 2 games of the series for the Cougs, and now it's Samantha Lincoln's turn to try to continue the excellent pitching that the Red Raiders have had all season long, as that's just fouled back, and Acosta spoils the 0-2 pitch. So Lincoln, 27 appearances, 11 starts, an 8-3 record last year. That included a perfect game against UMass. For the Mass native and the lefty sophomore, was highly ranked, the 17th ranked player in the class of 2024 coming in. And a part of an excellent staff, 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Getting to learn under Kennedy and Terry, 2 of the best pitchers in the country. And well, Jerry Glasgow also said it's been tough for Samantha Lincoln to get a bunch of innings as well because of all the run rule victories. Texas Tech earlier this week adding a couple of games to their schedule. They'll play 6 games in 6 days. Not all the time you see a team currently ranked 2nd in the country looking for their 13th straight win here this afternoon. Add some games against mid-majors on the road, but that's what the Red Raiders want to do to prepare for the postseason. And Samantha Lincoln freezes Danica Acosta as she goes down on strikes to begin this ball game. The 40th punch out for the left-hander as she drops in the off speed. 40 strikeouts, just 7 walks on the season. That is launched out to center field, right at the wall. And it's Lily Owens who starts off this game with a bang. The second batter in, the Cougs score first, just as they did on Friday night, as Lily Owens puts it over the center field wall. Maya Davis was going back on it, but Owens comes up with a big home run. A 1-0 score. It was Lincoln a week ago who surrendered 3 home runs against Iowa State, and this one dead center. Davis going back on it, but Owens stays back, drives it to center, and just hits off the leather of Davis, who got back to the wall. And first pitch swing in over to third. Panel has it, and Haley Schuler, who had the only 2 hits for the Cougs yesterday, grounds out to third after the solo home run from Owens. And it was Lincoln who did surrender those 3 long balls last time out and 6 earned runs, but only 13 earned runs all year now, 14. 6 of those coming last week. It broke a stretch of 4 consecutive scoreless outings for Samantha Lincoln, as she faces Elovea Brittingham out in center field today. You can also catch this Cougs team. 7 home runs, had 19 a year ago to tie a freshman record, set a freshman record with 69 driven in. Was recognized as the Big 12 Freshman of the Year and the first All-American for the program in just over a half-decade. Honored to the third team. Numbers a little down this year, but still 7 home runs, 2 doubles, hitting .232 though. And the cleanup spot in Gordon Eakin's lineup. It was BYU scoring first on Friday night against Nyjah Kennedy. But then she came back and struck out 11, reaching the milestone of 1,000 strikeouts in her career, and only allowed 2 hits and 1 unearned run during that complete game. And Lincoln comes back to strike out Brittingham. A pair of punch-outs for the lefty in the first, but it's Lily Owens who leaves the yard, and the Cougs lead 1-0 after a half inning from Tracy Sellers Field.
This is Holden at 10. No budget, no spending alerts, no shot. And this is Future Holden. When Holden was 10, Mom signed him up for Lubbock National Student Visa debit card. That first account helped him learn about money early, smart spending, budgeting, and a cash bonus for good grades.
So, what have you used our cash rewards for?
We took Bella to prom.
It's not too late to get your own student card.
They look at us and wonder, what's out there?
We are.
We've never been the type to stand to the side, letting world-changing ideas go untested. We push even beyond our own expectations. Here is seen across the country and heard around the world. We strive to be bold, to be impactful, and to challenge the status quo.
Because from here,
And here.
And even here,
It's possible.
Lily Owens standing out in left field after she puts one over the center field wall, giving her team a 1-0 lead after a half inning here in the series finale for Lily Owens, her team leading 7th home run of the year. And Maya Davis leading off this top of the first inning with a single, takes the round around first and then retreats. So a base knock off Gianna Mares to begin this outing, the junior we saw on Friday. She pitched 5 innings, only allowed 3 hits, but walked 8. And the free passes have been a problem for what has been an injury-riddled season, especially for BYU in the circle. And Mares walking 8 batters. Caitlin Terry off to short, but the relay not in time, and so she'll reach on a fielder's choice. So after Davis begins the bottom of the first getting aboard, now Terry trading places with her. On the ground ball to short, Tristan Turlington is there to make the flip off to Danica Acosta at second to get the speedy Davis off the base paths, who's the active leader in Division I in hits and top 5 in steals, games played, at bats as well, as Jackie Liss riding a 16-game on-base streak into this series finale. Had 2 home runs in 2 different ways on Friday. An inside the Parker, then put one over the wall. A grand slam to end the game after 6 innings. Jackie Liss has come in to this Red Raiders program hitting .459 with 10 home runs after an outstanding career at Southern Illinois. As a pair of lefties duel in this series finale. BYU, a team who's only played 4 games at home this year. They'll have a nice homestand coming up after they conclude this trip here in Lubbock. It's their first ever trip to Lubbock as Terry going to second, and she is caught stealing. Kaya Fabella with an absolute shot down to second. Turlington applies the tag. And Terry, who was going for her 9th stolen base, is dead to rights at second. Caught for just a 3rd time trying to steal this season, so now 2 down. And the 2-2 is fouled back by Jackie Liss. I mean, she is slugging an unbelievable clip, 929 slugging this season for Jackie Liss. So despite moving up to the Power 4 level from Southern Illinois, she has certainly ripped the ball with authority. Does it right there down the left field line. Gathered by Owens. Did not allow that to roll to the wall, and it's a 2-out single for Jackie Liss, who has now been aboard in 17 consecutive games. She accounted for 8 of the 11 runs that Texas Tech scored on Friday, with 6 driven in, along with a pair of runs scored as Mia Williams comes up to the plate. And a big swing and a miss. An 0-1 count. Gianna Mares, the junior out of Tucson, Arizona. Only allowed those 3 hits in 5 innings against the Red Raiders, and that ball is sky to center. It continues to fly. And Mia Williams with her 14th home run of the season. It's a 2-run shot, and the Red Raiders take a 2-1 lead in the bottom of the 1st inning. The ball is flying in West Texas here this afternoon after Lily Owens had a solo shot in the 1st. It's Mia Williams who leaves the yard with 2 outs in the home half of the inning, giving the Red Raiders a 1-run lead.
Batting for the Red Raiders, number 6, Taylor Pennell.
Mia Williams keeps her weight back, stands toward the back of the batter's box, and can really launch the ball all over the field. And that ball ricochets off the glove of Acosta, and it allows Taylor Pennell to reach. So 3 hits in the bottom of the 1st inning here for the Red Raiders after the infield single from Taylor Pennell. Now make it 4 hits for Texas Tech after Gianna Mares on Friday night only allowed 3 hits in 5 innings of action. Brings Jasmine Burns to the plate. 3 consecutive hits, the Jackie Liss single, followed by the Mia Williams home run. And it brings Jasmine Burns to the plate. Mia Williams entering this afternoon 5th in the conference in home runs with 13, now with 14. And the 2-run shot giving the Red Raiders a 2-1 lead. So a short-lived 1-0 lead for the Cougars. It was the crooked numbers that have really been the story of this series. Yesterday it was a 9-run bottom of the 2nd inning. And Texas Tech added 1 more in the bottom of the 4th, winning the ballgame 10-1 after 5 innings of action. 2 balls and a strike here to Jasmine Burns. As that misses inside. The other unbelievable thing about Texas Tech, and there are a lot of things when you look at the numbers that just jump off the charts, but the home run total is just exceptional. It's already a program record, and it has been for some time. But their 81st home run of the season coming with Mia Williams as Taylor Pennell takes second base with the count now full with no throw down. And it's ball 4 to Jasmine Burns. It was Caitlin Terry who got aboard on a fielder's choice and then was caught stealing quickly with 2 outs, but a single home run single and walk all with 2 outs put 2 on. for Desiree Spearman. Up to 9 home runs on the year. But yes, 81 bombs for Texas Tech. A program record, still with a lot left on the table to hit more the rest of the way, with about a month left in the season. And that mark leads the Big 12. It's 4th in the country. Leading the country, Oklahoma. They've hit 141. 2 balls and a strike is the count here with 2 outs. Runners on first and second, Panel at second, Burns aboard at first base with Spearman at the plate. And she watches inside. Spearman with 39 runs driven in. She fouls it back. Had a pair of hits and 3 driven in yesterday after going 0 for 1 with a punch out in the series opener. And she pulls this to third, race to the bag in time for Townsend to get the force at third to retire the side. But not before Mia Williams launches one over the center field wall. It's the Red Raiders leading by 1 after 1 here from Lubbock. Back to action here from Lubbock, Texas. Desiree Spearman, Maya Davis, Caitlin Terry out in the outfield. Taylor Panel at third, Haley Toney at short. Mia Williams, who had the home run in the bottom of the first inning. At second, Jackie Liss at first, Samantha Lincoln. In the circle, Jasmine Burns behind the plate, the defensive alignment for the Red Raiders. As we begin this top of the second inning, all the runs coming from the home run through an inning of action. A solo shot from Lily Owens, followed by Mia Williams. Hitting one over the fence, both to center field. A 2-run shot to give the Red Raiders a 2-1 lead. So Lincoln beginning the top of the second, firing a strike. Here to Bree Townsend, who stepped on third to get the force to end last half inning. So Lincoln's 41 strikeouts and 7 walks after having a pair of strikeouts in the first inning. She's top 15 in the country in strikeout to walk ratio. And the 1-1. Swing and a miss. It's Bree Townsend to chase, now down in the count with a ball and 2 strikes. Townsend 0 for 2 on Friday, 0 for 1 yesterday. And she takes low and inside to even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Townsend, 4 home runs this season, had 6 a year ago, hit .272, but hitting .214 here in her sophomore campaign with BYU. And the 2-2. She lays off to run the count full. Similar script to what we saw Friday with BYU jumping out in front, but Texas Tech elicited a quick response as they did today. 3 runs in the bottom of the first as the full count pitch is grounded to third. Panel has it, and it's on to first in time. And after BYU scored a run in the top of the first on Friday, Texas Tech responded with immediately 3 runs in the home half of the first inning. And today, BYU scores first. Texas Tech doesn't allow that lead to last for long as Mia Williams hits one over the fence. One of the top home run hitters in the league and the leader in the long ball on the team, as it's another ground ball to third, but pulled foul by Maddie Udawole. She's a .217 hitter on the season. It's a BYU team hitting .253 as a club, which ranks last in the Big 12. And Lincoln paints the inside corner. For now an 0-2 count. It's pulled foul. The count remains. Udawole 0 for 1 yesterday, a senior out of Phoenix, Arizona. Hit .286 a year ago, .217 though this season. Back in 2024, she had a grand slam against Texas Tech. That marked BYU's first win in Big 12 program history, hitting .315 during that season. In her 4th year with the program, the 0-2. Misfires outside. It's been a very tough schedule for the Cougs here this season, as they've had to play all the top teams in the Big 12. The top 4 have been on their schedule in their first 4 conference weekends. As Lincoln tries to go upstairs, but Gordon Eakin, he's been at the helm since 2003. The head coach for BYU, and 15 conference titles in his career. They've jumped around to multiple leagues now. Their 3rd year in the Big 12. He's won 22 games in the NCAA tournament. And that's pulled through the left side past a diving Haley Toney. And Maddie Udawole has herself a 1-out single here in the top of the 2nd inning. So Rita Tavita comes up to the plate. The Cougs right fielder that just gets past the diving Toney.
Now batting for the Cougars, number 24, Rita Tavita.
It's a Texas Tech team fielding at a .974 clip that leads the Big 12. They lead the conference in fielding percentage, batting average, total runs. and ERA. In fact, their ERA as a team at 1.62. That's third best in the country. As Lincoln fires a strike to even the count. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on. Tavita 0 for 2 in each of the first 2 games of the series, and watches down and out. A 2-1 count for the freshman out of Salt Lake City, Utah. Was the Utah Gatorade Player of the Year and a 5A state champion at West Jordan High School in 2025. And she watches down below the knees. Now a 3-1 count with Samantha Lincoln in the circle, who's been very stingy, very limited walks for her, just 7 across 45 2/3 with an unblemished 7-0 record. And it's pulled foul to make the count full. And speaking of unblemished records, well, how about Caitlin Terry, 15-0 in the circle after she went the distance, albeit a short game. 5 innings she had yesterday. And just needed 69 pitches to go the distance once again and improve to 15-0 in the circle. But a walk there for Samantha Lincoln. And that puts runners on first and second with 1 out for Kaya Fabella.
At the plate, number 7, Kaya Favela.
So Lincoln with a pair of strikeouts in the first, but did surrender the solo home run. And now Fabella with an opportunity with runners on first and second and 1 out. Another freshman in this BYU order. And Lincoln misfires inside. Fabella 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts in the series opener. The freshman out of Fort Worth, Texas, went to Keller High School, has some ties to BYU. Her father graduated from BYU Law, but after her all-state career at Keller High School, comes to BYU, a 208 hitter this year. And the 1-1 laid in for a strike by Lincoln. And just down. Good eye by Fabella to even the count. As we get another look, this one really close from the left-hander, but just down. Jazzy Burns doing her best to try to pull that back in the zone. And that's pulled foul. But that 2-2 pitch, not close enough for Shane Jackson behind the plate, calling balls and strikes. Robert Guest at first. Mike Bartling, our third base umpire today. And another 2-2 offering coming from Samantha Lincoln. And now another full count on the way. A single and a walk have put 2 on. And here's the 3-2. It's softly tapped to short. Only play is to first, and it's in time. Nice play by Haley Toney to get it over to Jackie Liz for the second out. Runners do advance to second and third, but now 2 down for the 9th hitter in the Cougars order. It's Tristan Turlington. Saw her come in for Haley Morrow, one of the best players for BYU. She has a first pitch swing. It's to left field, and it's down. Gathered there by Desiree Spearman. A pair of runs score, and it's Tristan Turlington out of the 9th spot in the order with a 2-out, 2 RBI double to put BYU back in front here in the series finale. Both runs coming across to score. So BYU showing some life and some fight, limited to just 2 total runs through the first 2 games of the series. They've been able to put 3 on the board here through 2 innings of action in the series finale. With much thanks to Tristan Turlington coming through. With 2 down, so now it's back to the top of the order. Danica Acosta entered today with a team-leading .341 batting average. Struck out looking her first time up. And yanks it fouled for now an 0-2 count. Tristan Turlington ambushes the first pitch from Samantha Lincoln. Pulls it down the left field line to score 2 just a moment ago. And put BYU ahead 3-2. And the 0-2 is just tapped on the infield. And Jazzy Burns comes in to make the play. Not before Tristan Turlington's 2-out, 2 RBI double puts BYU on top as we go to the bottom of the second.
Reliant is the home of free electricity weekends, so your home can be the home of epic bedtime stories. The truly free weekends electricity plan gives you free electricity every weekend automatically from 8 p.m. Friday to 12 a.m. Monday. And when you have Reliant and Vivint, they're smarter together, giving you the power to manage your electricity and your smart home all in one place. Live happily ever after with the truly free weekends electricity plan from Reliant, proud partners of Texas Tech Athletics.
We are creating an unusually amazing customer experience.
We don't push product. We want to understand how we can help.
Where UMB and the relationship officers do a fantastic job is getting to know the customer, build trust, and let them know they care.
I think everyone sells relationship banking, but we deliver it.
Here's what the Cougs lineup looks like defensively behind Gianna Mares. Lily Owens out in left had the solo shot in the bottom of the first before, or the top of the first before the Cougs had 2 in the top of the second inning. Danica Acosta at second. Tristan Turlington, who had the 2-out, 2 RBI double last half inning to put BYU back out in front. Over at short, it's Kaya Fabella behind the plate working with Mares, and Haley Toney leads off the bottom of the second with a single to center field. So the Red Raiders adding another hit, already their 5th in this ball game, and it brings Lauren Allred to the plate.
Number 11, Lauren.
Haley Toney putting together another successful campaign after playing and starting in all 68 games her freshman season. And an opportunity for Lauren Allred with the top of the order waiting on deck. And the first two miss outside the zone from Mares after the leadoff single from Haley Toney. So the first three outside the zone to the redshirt junior Lauren Allred, hailing from Texarkana, Texas. One of a couple players who follow Coach Jerry Glasgow from Louisiana. And that's in for a strike. Allred an all Big 12 second team selection a season ago, hitting .344 this year. And she takes a free pass. She's walked 18 times this year, has only struck out 3 times, and it puts the first two on for the top of the order. And Maya Davis, one of the most decorated players in college softball. Speaking with Jerry Glasgow earlier this week, he said, if you follow college softball, Maya Davis is a household name. And the interesting thing about that is there's plenty of household names. Caitlin Terry, Nyjah Kennedy, Mia Williams, Taylor Panel, Jasmine Burns. There's so many on this Texas Tech team when you bring in multiple All-Americans to a team that was a game away from winning a national championship a year ago. And has only lost one conference game this season. It came to Arizona a few weeks back, but since then, they haven't lost. 12 consecutive victories for the Red Raiders as they try to answer back from BYU's 2-run top of the second inning. And it started off in a good way with the first 2 runners getting aboard. And now a visit out to the circle now, and the Cougs look like they're going to make a pitching change. And so we'll step aside and tell you about the new arm coming into the circle when we come back. A 3-2 score, 2 on for the top of the order when we come back. So it's Jada Villegas being called upon, the sophomore left-hander with 2 on. And the top of the order up here for Texas Tech. And the bottom of the second inning. So 1 trip through the order for Gianna Mares, who threw 5 innings against Texas Tech. Did allow 7 runs and 8 walks, but just 3 hits on Friday night. And now Jada Villegas enters, the San Bernardino, California native, in her second year with the program. And she'll offer a different look here against Maya Davis, a .469 hitter on the year after leading off the bottom of the first with a single, but then was cut off the base paths on a ground ball, which allowed Caitlin Terry to reach on a fielder's choice. Villegas threw 2 2/3 yesterday in the 10-1 Texas Tech victory. And that is tapped foul by Davis. It was 2 2/3, 5 hits and 3 earned across 63 pitches, with 1 strikeout and 2 walks for Villegas a day ago. And a single and a walk to begin this inning. Put 2 on for Maya Davis. Davis thinking about dropping one down. It's pulled back. And called a ball, so now 3 balls and a strike is the count. Here to Davis, who hits it to third. They get the force at second with Breed Townsend flipping it off to Danica Acosta, but Davis will reach on the fielder's choice for the first out of the inning. Haley Toney will get to third. It puts runners on the corners here for Caitlin Terry. Saw her program record 24-game hit streak snapped yesterday, but still has been aboard in 26 consecutive games. And runner is off. Sliding into second safely is Maya Davis. Her 29th stolen base of the year, now 131 in her career, leading the country once again as she did as a freshman 3 years ago. That's in for a strike. One of the most decorated base stealers we've seen in quite some time. One of the active leaders in that category. A ball and a strike here to Caitlin Terry. And Terry, ground ball to second. Acosta throws it away. So Terry will take second, and a pair of runs will come across and score. The Red Raiders back in front. It's a 4-3 lead for Texas Tech. Good things happening when Caitlin Terry puts the ball in play. Acosta had to range over to her left a little bit, dives on the infield dirt, but the throw scoots away from Maddie Udawali, and it allows a couple runs to come across and score. And so after Gianna Mares started this ball game, just faces 9 batters the second time through. They go to Jada Villegas out of the bullpen. And 2 runs here in the bottom of the second for Texas Tech, just as they had in the bottom of the first, because of the batter on deck, Mia Williams, hitting a 2-run home run. So Jackie Liss hitting with a 1-1 count. So the stolen base by Davis, leading the country in that department, allows a run to come across and score on the ground ball to second by Caitlin Terry. BYU, a team ravaged by injuries, despite finishing 6th in the Big 12 each of the past 2 years. They were the first team out for the NCAA tournament in each of the past 2 years, so close for Gordon Eakin's team. And that's a ground ball to third. They throw it across. Runner advances from second to third in Terry on the throw across the diamond. But Liss is retired on the ground ball for the second out. So Terry, who reached On the air by Danica Acosta. The throw went wild, allowed 2 runs to score. And now Mia Williams hits with 2 outs. And she's first pitch swinging, pops it up right side, and Acosta in foul ground is able to track it down and end the inning. Not before Texas Tech scores 2, taking advantage of an error in the field. They lead 4-3 after 2 here from Tracy Sellers Field. Gordon Eakin in his 24th season at the helm for BYU. Very, very respected hitting mind in the world of college softball. Coached the Cougars to 11 straight conference championships spanning 4 conferences, including 6 consecutive West Coast Conference championships. That streak beginning in 2014. Now the Cougs in their 3rd year in the Big 12. Currently 2-9 in conference play. They've dealt with so much injuries really in their first 3 years in the league, and this season no different. Down their top 2 pitchers, but they've had it at a close game, producing runs off Samantha Lincoln in each of their first 2 team trips to the plate. 1 run in the first and 2 in the second, but each time Texas Tech able to score as well. They scored 2 in the bottom of the first, the Red Raiders do, and 2 more in the bottom of the second with a 1-run 4-3 lead as we start the top of the 3rd inning. Lily Owens up for a second time. She had a solo home run to center field. And a check swing. Ground ball right side. Williams flips it on to first in time. Williams doing both today. Had the 2-run shot in the bottom of the first and a nifty play at second.
At the plate for the Cougars, number 4, Haley
For the first out in the top of the 3rd inning as Lily Owens is retired. On the ground ball. Swing and a miss. Haley Schuler well out in front of that one. Oh for 1 today. Grounded out to 3rd, her first time up in the 1st inning. A .319 hitter this season. And that scoots away from Burns to even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. We were showing you Gordon Eakin just a moment ago. He led this program to 16 consecutive NCAA tournaments. They are left out of the postseason, though, now in 4 straight years. despite being right on the cusp the last couple of years as the first team out. They made it to the Big 12 semifinals in 2024 and quarterfinals last year. But a little wrinkle with the conference tournament this year, as they're not taking all 11 teams, just the top 8 teams make it. And BYU currently in 10th place out of 11 teams in the standings right now. As Haley Schuler fouls away the 2-2 pitch from Samantha Lincoln. But 35 games played for BYU and only 4 true home games. They've had such a tough schedule. Gordon Eakin telling us earlier this week it's the toughest schedule they've ever had. They wanted to do that to prepare this team for Big 12 play. And right out of the gate, they've had to play all the top teams, Texas Tech, of course, but Kansas last week. They've already had to play Oklahoma State and Arizona as well. All those teams, the top 4 in the conference standings right now. And Haley Schuler at the plate. The only 2 hits for BYU yesterday. And she sprays one into foul territory. Caitlin Terry giving some chase, but unable to track it down. And a full count pitch upcoming from Samantha Lincoln. The check swing going around is Haley Schuler. Another strikeout for Lincoln, her 3rd of the afternoon, as she retires the first 2. Here in the 3rd, looking for her first 1-2-3 frame of the afternoon. Elo Brittingham, who struck out swinging her last time up, comes to the plate. 1-0 count. That scoots to the backstop. Brittingham, an All-American, 3rd team, and Big 12 Freshman of the Year. Numbers down this year. Had to help out the team and catch a little bit at the beginning of the year while dealing with some sickness, and got off to a really tough start and kind of snowballed. It certainly can handle the bat with a lot of authority and has that potential to unload any time. Had 19 long balls in her first year of college softball as Lincoln just misses upstairs to make it a 3-0 count. So 56 pitches into Lincoln's outing, trying to work through 3. It's low and inside for ball 4. So Lincoln issuing 2 free passes today, and only had 7 all season coming into this outing. But a walk issued to Brittingham brings Bree Townsend to the plate. And right away, Texas Tech is making a pitching change. We'll step aside and be right back. It's a 4-3 Texas Tech lead here in the top of the 3rd inning. Nyjah Kennedy coming into the ball game with 2 outs here in the top of the 3rd inning. Hit a big milestone on Thursday night as she authored a 6-inning complete game, the 67th complete game of her career. Also reached her 1,000th strikeout. So 1,004 career strikeouts for one of the most decorated pitchers we have seen in the sport. And she's called upon out of the bullpen here in the top of the 3rd in a 1-run ball game. It's a wicked swing and a miss there from Bree Townsend. Kennedy, the senior, 2nd year with Texas Tech after a couple of great years at Stanford, and putting together another great season this year. After the run all the way to the Women's College World Series Championship Series, took a lot of the fall off. But getting back into form, and Jerry Glasgow said he wants to use her a little bit more, build her up as they get ready for the regionals, super regionals, and hopefully another World Series run in Oklahoma City. And so pitching 2 times in 3 days after a 6-inning effort on Thursday, something you have to be accustomed to as it's fouled away. But Kennedy, the workload a little down this year, was at about 100 innings heading into April a year ago. She's just shy of 90 innings this year, now 14-2 with a pair of saves as well. Saw her come out of the bullpen and strike out the side on the midweek against Abilene. And it gets the strikeout as she comes into the ball game here. Throw down to second, but there was 2 down, so it doesn't matter. Nyjah Kennedy comes in and does what she does. Gets a punch out, and it's a 4-3 score as we go to the last half of the 3rd inning next on ESPN+. So this is how the last half inning ended. Nyjah Kennedy coming in and getting the punch out. It was a foul tip back into the glove of Jasmine Burns. Kennedy coming through with her 131st strikeout of the season. Deployed out of the pen after 6 masterful innings once again on Thursday. She's 2nd in the conference in strikeouts and in that exclusive 1,000 strikeout club now, reaching that milestone on Thursday night in the series opener as Taylor Pannell steps up to the plate. A swing and a miss, now a 1-1 count. Thursday, Friday, Saturday for the series here this week, with Easter tomorrow and the day off. The 4-3 score in favor of Texas Tech. Now a 1-2 count with Taylor Pannell at the plate. It was 2 runs in the bottom of the first, thanks to a Mia Williams home run. 2 more runs in the bottom of the second, as Caitlin Terry hit a ground ball, reached on an error, and 2 runs came across to score. That is popped up and drops in foul territory in front of the first baseman, Maddie Udawali. He's unable to get there in time, keeping it at a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Another foul ball from Panel. Panel singled her last time up in the first inning. A .367 hitter for the Red Raiders this season. And another foul ball, Jada Villegas. 1 inning of work under her belt, came out of the bullpen in the second. One win, 8 losses, 3 saves though on the year across 48 innings of action for the left-hander. And misses up to Panel. So you see Nyjah Kennedy coming in relief last inning. Jerry Glasgow mentioned he's going to start doing that more to build up her endurance and stamina for hopefully another big postseason run. She comes in relief of Lincoln in the top of the 3rd inning and gets out of the threat with a strikeout of Bree Townsend. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. And good eye by Panel to lay off. Had a couple of RBIs in the series opener, but 0 for 2 in each of the first 2 games of the series. And now a full count. And she pulls this to left, but coming in to make the grab is Lily Owens for the first out. Brings Jasmine Burns to the plate with 1 down.
Now batting number 12, Jasmine Burns.
And Texas Tech leading by a run after winning the first 2 games of the series via run rule. 6 innings on Thursday, 5 innings yesterday. Big thanks to a 9-run bottom of the second a day ago as Jasmine Burns, 25 driven in, 7 home runs, a .338 hitter for Texas Tech. And the first 2 missing outside the zone from Villegas. And the 2-0. Now 3 balls and no strikes to Burns, who walked her last time up. Was a first-team All-American a year ago, hitting .455 with 25 home runs at Ohio State. And takes the strike. You insert Williams, Panel, and Burns, All-American caliber players, right into the middle of your order, transferring in from other schools. And the 3-1. Burns grounds this to short. Turlington has it. Scoop made at first by Maddie Udall-Woolley. And there's 2 down.
for the Red Raiders, number 8, Desiree Spearman.
So Desiree Spearman hits with 2 outs and nobody on, and watches for strike 1. Spearman, a junior out of El Paso, Texas, started her career at New Mexico State, where she just tore the cover off the ball. In fact, a .925 slugging percentage in her career. That's 3rd best among active Division I softball players. That's pretty good out of your 7th spot in the order to have the pop that she has, but a soft ground ball to third. Bree Townsend's throw lifts Yuta Woolley off the bag, and Spearman reaches. That extends the inning. Another look. Slow ground ball. Townsend is back on it, but the throw pulls Yuta Woolley off the bag. And Spearman, who hit a home run yesterday, reaches safely to bring Haley Toney to the plate. And that hits off the leather of Kaya Fabella, easily allowing the runner to advance in Spearman. So the Red Raiders with 2 outs will try to add on to what is a 1-run lead, and Haley Toney singled and scored her first time up in the 2nd inning. 1 ball, 1 strike here to Haley Toney. She watches for strike 2, even count. And that's strike 3. Jada Villegas with the punch out. Texas Tech strands runner in scoring position, but they lead 4-3 as we're through 3 here from Tracy Sellers Field.
The true strength of West Texas is in its people, where oil fields meet the heart of our community. Texas Tech Athletics is proud to partner with an industry that drives our region forward. From classrooms to stadiums, we're ensuring our community thrives. Together, we're creating pathways to success. Texas Tech and oil and gas, powering progress together.
Welcome to Abuelo's, where fresh meets flavor. Experience the incredible flavors of Abuelo's Mexican restaurant, combining homemade cooking with rich flavors of coastal and interior Mexican cuisine. Enjoy made-from-scratch Mexican food, from our house-made salsas, sauces, tortillas, and sides, to our hand-rolled enchiladas, traditional Tex-Mex items, and unique house specialties. Come in today and enjoy great food and new traditions, because the best memories are made around the table. Abuelo's, where the taste of Mexico comes alive.
Time doesn't wait. It doesn't pause for tradition, or history, or even greatness. It keeps moving, and if we don't move with it, we get left behind. Texas Tech stands at the edge of something bigger. Every touchdown, every win has led to this. The future won't build itself. We build it.
Jerry Glasgow in his second season at the helm with Texas Tech after 7 years with Louisiana. One of the most respected coaches in the sport as he takes over in Lubbock a year ago and takes the Red Raiders all the way to the National Championship Series, falling a game short of winning it all. And they have those lofty expectations for another deep postseason run once again. Nyjah Kennedy, a big reason why, among a slew of so much talent. And Jerry Glasgow said, this is the most talented team he has ever coached. Nyjah Kennedy, certainly one of the best arms he's ever had the pleasure of working with. As she begins this top of the fourth inning, after coming in the third and recording a strikeout, the only batter she faced to get out of the inning, a fresh inning of work. Tossed a complete game on Thursday, and now working out of the bullpen. That ball lifted towards center field, and it's going a long way. BYU comes up with a home run. Maddie Udall-Woolley leaves the yard, and the Cougars continue to answer with the bats here in the series finale, and they nod the score at 4.
At the plate, number 24, Rita Tavita.
Maddie Udall-Woolley, the second home run of the afternoon for the Cougars. Deadlocks us at 4 here in the fourth inning. Just the 8th home run that Nyjah Kennedy has surrendered this year. After she surrendered one unearned run in the first on Thursday, didn't allow pretty much anything, just one base runner the rest of the game, to pick up her 14th win of the season, but allows the solo fly to lead off the fourth from Maddie Udall-Woolley. And it brings Rita Tavita up to the plate, and Kennedy responds with a strikeout. Mentioned Jerry Glasgow, the 7 years at Louisiana and now second at Texas Tech. Has a record of .391 and 104. That's good for a 79% winning percentage. That is tied for the third best winning percentage among active Division I softball coaches. And the 1-0 is a swing and a miss. Kaya Fabella up at the plate. The leader in that department with an .814 winning percentage in 32 seasons at Oklahoma, Patty Gasso. 79% of your games being won for Jerry Glasgow, putting him in exclusive company, one of the winningest, when you look at percentage-wise, coaches in the college softball, as Kennedy fires a strike. It appears to be dialed in after surrendering the solo home run to lead off this inning. Looking to change pace. So up to 1,005 career strikeouts now. And the 3-2. She gets another one. Oh, it's just off the plate instead, and that's a free pass, actually. So Kennedy issuing the walk, and that puts a runner on with one out here in the top of the fourth inning. So Maddie Udall-Woolley hits the home run, then Kennedy picks up the strikeout. But then on the 3-2 pitch, just missing the plate, and the one-out walk puts one on. with Lexi Bennett coming in
At the plate for the Cougars, number
for
28,
BYU. She'll be running at first with Tristan Turlington at the plate. She had the 2-out, 2 RBI double in the second inning to give BYU the lead. She takes for a strike. That was just her third hit of the season. Now 3 for 30 on the year, hitting just 100. And a swing and a miss. Nyjah Kennedy making quick work of Turlington. And that flips the lineup card back to the top.
Batting for the Cougars, number 15, Danica Acosta.
Kennedy's .90 career ERA, best among active pitchers in the sport. And a throw down to second. It's in time. So that's how the threat ends, shooting down a runner at second. Good shot from Jasmine Burns. Lexi Bennett gunned down at second. And that's how the side is retired, but not before Maddie Udall-Woolley leaves the yard. We're tied at 4. All tied at 4 as we start the bottom of the 4th inning. 4 runs, 4 hits, 1 error for BYU. 4 runs, 6 hits, no errors for Texas Tech. But the Cougs hanging in with Texas Tech after the Red Raiders win via mercy rule in each of the first 2 games of the series, up to a program record 26 run rule wins. But today it's a tight affair. Knotted at 4 as we begin the bottom of the 4th with Lauren Allred at the plate. And Jada Villegas in the circle. 2 innings of work, just 1 hit allowed. And 1 strikeout as well. And Allred putting a charge into this out to center. But Brittingham is there to make the grab for the first out of the bottom of the 4th. And that brings us back to the top of the Red Raiders order. Maya Davis at the plate. Had a single in the first, reached on a fielder's choice. Then swiped her nation-leading 29th bag in the second. Now up for a 3rd time. Villegas looking to go inside. Davis lays off. Davis walked twice on Thursday, walked twice on Friday as well. And in a friendly 2-0 count, with one out in the bottom of the fourth. Senior out of Lovelady, Texas, followed Jerry Glasgow from Louisiana to Texas Tech and has made an unbelievable impact on this program. Ground ball, and that's a base hit for Maya Davis, trying to leg for a two-bagger, and she does. The speedy Maya Davis comes up with a double. And right away, the Red Raiders with a runner in scoring position for one of the most dangerous hitters in America. Caitlin Terry entered the day top 5 in the country in batting average. Went 3 for 3 yesterday, including a home run. And in Big 12 play, she's hit 6 home runs. 6 of her 7 overall have come in conference play. Tied for the team lead in league play in home runs. The 1-0. That scoots away from the backstop and allows Maya Davis to reach third as Kaya Fabella couldn't handle it. And so the go-ahead run now at third here in the bottom of the fourth as Caitlin Terry tries to do a job. 0 for 2 today, but does have an RBI. And may have another here. That's a ground ball booted off Udawole, and Terry will take second. The Red Raiders will take a 5-4 lead in the bottom of the fourth. So Caitlin Terry's had back-to-back ground balls on the right side that the Cougs couldn't handle in the field. One to Danica Acosta at second. Right there, it's to Maddie Udawole at first base. And just like that, Texas Tech back on top, a 5-4 lead. And first one to Jackie Liss. She puts a charge into it, ranging at the wall. To make the grab is Rita Tavita, but Caitlin Terry comes home to score. Tagging from second, unbelievable. And the Red Raiders ahead 6-4 in the bottom of the fourth. So Terry, who was credited with a hard hit ball and a double, standing at second, is able to tag up, taking 2 bags, sliding in safely at home. Just wow, but it looks like we're going to get a review here, perhaps. As our crew of Shane Jackson, Robert Guest, and Mike Bartling letting us know what the ruling will be. It was ruled that Terry got in safely, but the call currently under review. Gordon Eakin wants the crew to take a look at it. It was a close play at the plate. And Jackie Liss, who she could get a little more into that, was just shy of potentially another home run after having 2 in the series opener. 1 on inside the Parker, but instead a fly out to right on the first pitch that she saw, and it allows Caitlin Terry to score on the Jackie Liss fly out all the way to the wall. Crashing into the wall was Rita Tavita, and they relay it home. And it's hard to tell from that angle. Does look like Terry got in there. We'll get another look here. Gordon Eakin using a challenge here in the bottom of the fourth. The call on the field was safe at home. And if it is upheld, It would mean Texas Tech takes a 2-run lead. If not, it would end the inning. And here's the call. Okay, so call is confirmed. The runner left on time is what the review conclusion barked out to the fans here at Tracy Sellers Field in Lubbock, Texas. And so maybe looking more at that if the runner left on time rather than safe at the plate. But either way, it's a run on the board. And Caitlin Terry tagging from second on a fly ball by Jackie Liss out to right field. That was just in front of the wall. And now first pitch swinging is Mia Williams. So the Red Raiders bats aggressive on the first pitch again. And Mia Williams has herself a 2-hit day, had a 2-run home run, her 14th of the season in the first inning. And gets aboard here as well. As she singles through the left side, it brings Taylor Panel to the plate, who's 1 for 2 today. And a visit out to the circle now, talking with Jada Villegas, the left-hander who entered in the second after Gianna Mares started the ballgame. Pete Meredith, the pitching coach, having a conversation with her as she has worked 2 2/3, surrendered 4 hits and 2 earned with 1 strikeout through 13 batters faced in relief so far. And Pete Meredith with a quick conference, the pitching coach. He's been the pitching coach for BYU since 2014. A part of those 8 West Coast Conference titles and 7 trips to the regional when he's been on staff. But Taylor Panel now at the plate. 2 outs, 1 on. And the 1-0 is fouled away. Panel, the redshirt junior, who was a second-team All-American at Tennessee last year, hit just shy of 400 with 65 runs driven in. That was the 8th best mark in Val's history, as that's up and out. And a 2-time first-team All-SEC selection, hit .342 in SEC play as a freshman. Ton of power and ton of speed after starring at Rock Island High School in Illinois. And an easy taking of second for Mia Williams. So she'll move into scoring position for Taylor Panel. Who had her first hit of the series in the first inning. And she'll get aboard once again on ball 4 as it's just off the plate from Villegas. Runners on first and second now for Jasmine Burns.
Now batting number 12, Jasmine Burns.
And the Wogs really have been a big story so far in this series. Just the first for Villegas, but 3rd overall from BYU here today. And that came after they surrendered 10 free passes on Thursday. Followed by 7 more walks on Friday, so 20 total free passes issued by Cougar Arms here in this series. Burns 0 for 1 with a walk today. And a 0-2 count. She fouls it away. So After Texas Tech won 54 games and lost 14 last year, going 20-4 in conference play, 13-1 in Big 12 play this year with a 37-2 record. And they've won 12 consecutive games. As Burns watches inside, but Williams taking an extra bag once again as the Red Raiders are running this afternoon. Moving up to third as Burns hits with a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Burns pulls this one and hits it a long way, but foul territory. Now, this game today resembles a little bit more of what we saw last year when these two teams played a 3-game set in Provo, Utah, and there was 2 one-run games, and Texas Tech needed to win the rubber match to secure the series, and Jazzy Burns will touch them all. A 3-run shot and a no-doubter at that, as Jasmine Burns helps the Red Raiders add on here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Her 8th home run of the year, and Texas Tech has a 9-4 lead here in the 4th. Another crooked number put on the scoreboard here at Tracy Sellers Field. A 9-run second yesterday, and the 5th run coming across to score here in the bottom of the 4th in the series finale as Jasmine Burns
Number 8, Desiree Spearman,
came into this program with that long ball prowess, and she showcases the pop to the opposite field there. And a 3-run home run. Her 8th of the season. It was Desiree Spearman who hit her 8th of the year yesterday. Who's up to the plate now, hitting with a 2-0 count. Now 3 balls and no strikes. Burns, who had 25 home runs, ranked 5th in the country in that mark in her sophomore season last year with the Buckeyes at Ohio State. And showcasing the pop there for a 3-run home run, and Desiree Spearman watches for strike 1. So 2 doubles and now 2 home runs. Texas Tech, 4 of their 10 hits going for extra bases today. And Desiree Spearman walks, the 4th walk issued by BYU today. Spearman gets on her 2nd time on the base paths this afternoon. And a visit to the circle and a change upcoming as Gordon Eakin will take the ball from Jada Villegas, and a new arm coming in after 2 2/3 of work from the lefty. We'll tell you all about her when we come back. So new arm into the ball game for BYU. It's Haley Schuler. 9 starts, 60 and a third tossed with just above a 7 ERA on the season. Schuler worked 1 1/3, allowed 4 hits and 7 runs with 5 walks on 45 pitches, facing 13 batters yesterday when Texas Tech won it 10-1 after 5 innings. So she's back out there in the circle once again. But just an inning and a third in her starting effort yesterday. But now coming out of the bullpen in the series finale. And faces Haley Toney with 2 outs and 1 on. Runner is off, down to second in time, and now taking third as well. So Haley Toney will hit with a runner at third base. Heads up base running by Texas Tech once again. Desiree Spearman, who walked to reach first, now stands at third, taking second and advancing to third on the overthrow. As the ball trickled into shallow left on the attempted tag by Tristan Turlington. And Toney lays off. It's the first home run in 8 games for Jazzy Burns, now up to 8 on the year. And now Haley Toney at the plate. And she draws a walk. So back-to-back walks. Spearman walks, and now Toney draws a free pass as well.
At the plate for the Red Raiders, number 11, Lauren Allred.
With Schuler now in the circle. And Lauren Allred coming up to the plate with 2 down and 2 on. And takes for a strike. It was Schuler who walked 5 yesterday in just an inning and a third in her start. As Allred sprays it foul, but she's been called upon a lot more than expected here this season for BYU. The sophomore who transferred from Duke, played in 20 games, just went 3 of 11 at the plate for the Blue Devils a year ago. Has been a fixture at the plate and has had to be out of necessity because of injuries in the circle as well. Made 11 appearances a season ago as Haley Toney takes second. And no throw by Kaya Fabella behind the plate. And that is shot through the right side by Lauren Allred. A couple runs come across to score, and Texas Tech, they've put a touchdown on the board here in the bottom of the 4th, and they lead 11-4. Lauren Allred coming through once again. And 2 RBIs. Out of the 9 spot in the order, it brings Maya Davis up to the plate. And she watches the first down from Haley Schuler. Davis 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored. She watches a strike, so experienced, leads the country among active players in hits, at-bats, top 5 in stolen bases and runs scored as well. Very high on that list. Adding 2 more today, and that is tapped to short. Turlington on to first, and they cut down Maya Davis for the final out. But not before Texas Tech. 7 runs in the bottom of the 4th. A 3-run shot from Jasmine Burns. Lauren Allred adds 2 more RBIs, and it's all Red Raiders after 4 here from Lubbock.
When you're the leader in disaster cleanup and restoration, how do you make like it never even happened happen? Let it rain, Randy! Woo! Yes! By being prepared for anything! Woo! Whatever comes your way, there's a pro for that.
Serve Pro, like it never even happened.
Alliance Checking has your back and your future. With a streamlined, hassle-free checking experience, you get the freedom to manage your money your way. Enjoy our best rate on deposits, plus stock rewards that stack up, turning everyday spending into real growth. Every purchase, every swipe, every transaction works harder for you. From coffee runs to big-ticket buys, spending money has never paid off like this. Alliance Credit Union, for people, not profit.
Goes Calvis, throw it way out. Bring in a run. We got a double. Big conference. You call it at the third. Great defensive. Jockey in the second.
Make a 12 up.
That base runner.
A look at the upcoming schedule for BYU. They'll get to enjoy a 9-game homestand starting with a midweek versus Utah Valley. Then they'll host Houston. And then another midweek against Utah Tech before hosting Iowa State for more conference action in Provo. And that's what the Cougs feel like they deserve, how the schedule shook out this year. So many road games. They've only played 4 games at home this season. But they'll enjoy a nice homestand coming up after they conclude the series in Lubbock today. And Danica Acosta is up to the plate. 0 for 2 with a strikeout this afternoon. Facing Nyjah Kennedy. And taps it to third. Gathered. And across in time, Taylor Panel. Handling things so well at the hot corner. Change defensively for Texas Tech as Victoria Valdez is into the game now behind the plate, catching Nyjah Kennedy. And the first one is skied up, foul territory, and Jackie Liss makes the grab. So Lily Owens, who hit a home run in the first inning for BYU, is retired.
Now batting number 4, Haley
On the pop out to first, it brings Haley Schuler, the DP who we saw come in relief last inning, was the starting pitcher yesterday. The transfer from Duke, hitting an impressive .316 this year. And she gets under this one toward right field. Coming in to make the play, Caitlin Terry. So a speedy shutdown inning for Nyjah Kennedy. She retires the side in order. So Texas Tech back to the plate when we come back ahead 11-4. coming for the Red Raiders at Utah next weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Then at Utah State, at UTSA, at Texas State, and at UTEP. A lot of ats. Yes, they won't be back at Tracy Sellers Field until the 28th of April when they host Tarleton State on a Tuesday before hosting Baylor on a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, the final weekend of the regular season. So they just have one home conference series left. And they'll be hitting the road quite a bit upcoming, as you just saw, as Caitlin Terry steps in. She is 1 for 3 today with a run scored and a pair of RBIs, credited with a double on a hard hit ground ball to the right side that hit off the glove of Maddie Udall-Woolley last time up. So she's starting a new hitting streak after her 24-game hit streak was snapped yesterday. That a program record. Getting aboard at a 6.11 clip for her OBP, third best mark in the country, fourth best batting average at now .531 with a hit today. Went 3 for 3 a day ago. And oh, by the way, the incredible two-way star also improved to 15-0 in the circle. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count here to Caitlin Terry. And she hits it right back at Haley Schuler, who fields her position well in the circle and gets it on to first for the first out. Jerry Glasgow mentioning this week he's just been shocked and so surprised with the impact that the transfer into the program from UCLA, Caitlin Terry, has made with the bat this year. Really has unlocked a lot with her power and her swing, becoming one of the most dominant hitters in the country with the bat in her hands. And it's a Texas Tech lineup that is so lengthy. Another double-digit run-scoring effort here today, as they did in each of the first 2 games of the series as well, winning it in run rule fashion after 6 innings on Thursday, 5 innings in a 10-1 victory yesterday. With Jackie Liss at the plate. 1 for 3 with an RBI today. Got the RBI on the fly out to right field because Caitlin Terry tagged up from second. Her last time up, which happened to be in the bottom of the 4th, as the Red Raiders batted around in a 7-run home half of the 4th inning. Jackie Liss here takes a walk. Liss, the reigning Big 12 Player of the Week, started her week off on Thursday with a couple home runs. One an inside the Parker, another to end the game with a grand slam. She reaches yet again. So Jackie Liss reaching. Logan Holloman now pinch running for her at first.
Batting for the Red Raiders, number 1, Mia Williams.
That brings Mia Williams to the plate. A swing and a miss. So Liss draws the free pass, and now Mia Williams hits with a runner aboard, and Logan Halibut now pinch running for her at first, with the Red Raiders up 11-4. So Texas Tech needing a run to end the ball game, which would be their 27th run rule victory of the year, which is already by far and away a program record, really showcasing their dominance as they look to pick up their 13th consecutive victory. Williams for the 1-2, watches it down. And in the midst of that victory, there's been some really impressive results. Any wins impressive in Big 12 play, but the streak started after a 9-0 loss to Arizona State. They came back the next 2 days and beat the Wildcats via run rule, 14-6 and then 8-0. And that ball skied out to right center, and that ball is gone for Mia Williams. She hits her second home run of the ball game, and Texas Tech will conclude as we wait just a moment. And so a ground rule double for Mia Williams, just missing the home run. As we thought that perhaps was going to end things here this afternoon with another 2-run shot for Mia Williams, what would have been her 14th of the season. As we get another look, you see the ball hits and then goes over. And so what appeared to be a long ball, instead, Mia Williams will have to settle for a double. So not done just yet, but Taylor Pannell could potentially end this one, as the Red Raiders need a run to secure a victory. Thought maybe Mia Williams had it, but just a ground rule double instead. Continuing a big day, so a 2-run home run along with a double for Mia Williams. Taylor Pannell at the plate, 1 for 2 today with a run scored. Also drawing a walk earlier in the ball game. And she pulls this foul. But 9 run rule victories for Texas Tech in their 12-game winning streak now. Trying to extend it to 13 games. And they could do it here in this inning. And it would make 10 of those via the run rule. Taylor Pannell at the plate. 2 balls and a strike. As Haley Schuler tries to work out of a jam with runners on second and third. And that's a ground ball to third. Play at the plate. Diving in safely. Logan Holloman comes in safely. And the Red Raiders come through with the victory. 12-4. Texas Tech run rules BYU in all 3 games of the series. And it ends with a play at the plate on a ground ball to third by Taylor Pannell. Logan Holloman, the pinch runner, coming across to score. And Texas Tech wins their 13th consecutive game. As we take another look on the play at the plate, ruled safe on the slide in. As we get another look, close play at the plate with Townsend going home and Fabella attempting to apply the tag. And so Gordon Eakin wanting to review this one once again, with the call on the field being safe. But Texas Tech, as the teams are shaking hands, comes through with a 12-4 win as Taylor Pannell's ground ball to third ends this one this afternoon. The Red Raiders improved to 38-2. They're now 14-1 in conference play, winners of 13 straight games. They take it 12-4 and sweep BYU. Big thanks to our producer-director, Justin Nusser. My name's Will Connerly. 12-4 the final score. The second-ranked Red Raiders sweep BYU. We say so long from Lubbock, Texas, as the Red Raiders win it 12-4 here on ESPN+.